These new hammer balls are already winning. Hey team, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian, core design engineer with Brunswick Bowling, and we're talking about the 3 newest releases in the hammer lineup that are already making waves for the 2024 season. But first, I wanted to take a quick minute to tell you about the Troublemaker video series that I produced. This 3-part series on my channel details the dualistic core, the first ever core built for no-thumb bowlers. It's in the original Troublemaker and now in the Troublemaker Pearl. In the first 2 videos, I explain why the Troublemaker dualistic core gives you the widest range of versatility for no-thumb layouts for players who do not use a thumb. And in the final series, I detail everything that you need to know to put layouts on these balls, and I'm going to let you in on a secret. This layout system is perfect for no-thumb bowlers for any core, symmetrical or asymmetrical. It does not have to be the dualistic core in the Troublemaker. So, if you want the easiest layouts for no-thumb bowlers, just check out these 3 videos, and at the end, the 3rd video of the 3, the layout system is completely detailed for you, so you and your proshop operator can make the best choice for the best layouts for no-thumb bowlers. Since this is a hammer video, we have to talk about the brand new hammer balls, including the 2 new balls that have just made their television debut. But since this is the core of it, I'm going to spend most of my time talking about the brand new Scorpion Low Flare with the LED 3.0 Low Flare core inside of it. But I'm not going to bury the lead. We have to talk about the fact that 2 of the hammer balls made their television debut on the first PBA tour stop of the season, and Bill O'Neill won that tournament with the brand new Black Widow 3.0, 2 of them as a matter of fact, 1 sanded and 1 compounded. The gas mask core inside this 3.0 is nothing short of legendary, so I don't have to spend any amount of time talking about it. I'll just remind you really briefly that it's got a 250 medium revving RG, it's got an 058 differential for max flare potential, and a moderate intermediate differential of 0.016 in 15 pounds. This is surrounded by carbon fiber outer core that's going to help the hitting power at the back of the lane. But of course the star of the show is the brand new HK22 cover base that now has the Aggression Solid additive package. Now we know the Aggression additive package has been seen in this HP price point for hammer on a number of balls, and the base chemistry for the Aggression Solid was actually on the Black Widow 2.0 when it debuted way back a number of years ago now. But we couldn't call it the 3.0 without saying that this ball took a significant step forward in ball motion, and in terms of aggression on the lane, it sure does. This HK22 sanded format gives this ball a whole new level of traction from the mid lane to the pins. This is an early but a usable amount of total hook. The only thing that's stronger than it in terms of its read in the mid lane is probably the Envy Series cover stock formulas that are found on the Envy Series balls now and were debuted on the Obsession Series balls. But those balls have a different core shape and are built for a little more mid lane control and maximum total hook on oil volume. This is what I would call a usable total hook, which is a little cleaner through the front part of the lane with a late strong change of direction at the back of the lane. So even though this ball hooks a ton, it doesn't tend to quit or go forward. It just kind of sweeps at the back of the lane, something that is easy to dig into the pattern and send away and have great confidence that you know that this ball is going to corner. Because of this, we're not considering this a replacement to a Black Widow 2.0 hybrid or even the original Black Widow 2.0 solid, but actually this is going to be an addition to the HP lineup for hammer, and it's going to go on top of both of those balls as the most aggressive Widow that we offer to date. Switching gears now to effectively the exact opposite end of the spectrum, we have the brand new Black Pearl Urethane that we debuted for the PBA Tour. Now this one isn't available to the general public until March, but we launched it early so that our tour players could use it in the 2024 season. Of course, it's got the same LED core that's in the original Purple Hammer Urethane. That's effectively the greatest ball of all time, according to not just us, but all the players who've thrown it. And since we can't use it due to the PBA's new hardness rule out on tour, then we had to come up with a couple different solutions. Now, of course, the new blue hammer debuted as the direct replacement for the purple hammer. It's got some reactive characteristic to it, though. It's not perfectly a urethane system. It's not urethane, as the name suggests. So it is just a little cleaner and a little more responsive than a purple hammer, slotting maybe just slightly above that in players' bags. So short of tricking it with a slightly different layout than you'd use on a purple hammer, we wanted to give players an option to just kind of downshift into something that's a little more manageable to play straighter up the boards, since the purple hammer and now the new blue are easy to swing and send away on shorter and lighter patterns. Enter the 78D hardness urethane. We've effectively replaced one ball that did it all, the purple hammer, with two options for our tour players. Now this new 78D hardness urethane ball has the exact same inner core as the purple hammer, with a 265 RG, which is incredibly high, but with urethane cover bases that start so early, we play in an RG range that's much higher than our typical reactive RG range, and the 015 total diff at 15 pounds. That's next to no flare potential, and you're pairing this with an incredibly hard urethane cover stock blend. That means that this ball is going to not do that much. Actually, I think our players were pleasantly surprised at how much back-end motion they did see out of this urethane ball, despite the fact that the core numbers and the cover hardness suggest that this is practically a spare ball. Now, this isn't necessarily a ball that I suggest every player run out and buy for league or anything like that. This is going to be a very specific piece in players' arsenals. If you're a tournament bowler, you're going to find use for it on patterns that are 37 feet and less, typically with medium to medium light volume. If you own a purple hammer and you're not bowling in the PBA, that ball is still perfectly legal, and I suggest you stick with that ball. And if you're a tournament player who sees slightly higher volumes or just longer and heavier patterns in general, the new blue is going to be the best option for you. But if you're an incredibly rev dominant player, or you see a number of patterns that are very light and very short, this 78D urethane ball might just be for you. While these other two balls are soaking up all the attention, there's a ball waiting in the wings that is definitely a sleeper and a really great ball in its own right. Now, this is the tour player's ball that hasn't seen TV just yet, but it is going to be a staple in tournament bowlers' arsenals for all hammer fans. This is the new Scorpion Low Flare, which contains a core shape that's kind of familiar, but also kind of different. The Scorpion line is kind of an interesting line because we've had three iterations: the original Scorpion, the Scorpion Sting, and now the Scorpion Low Flare. But rather than just putting a different cover on each of these balls, this system actually has its own core shape for each of the three balls. Starting with the 042 total differential original Scorpion, that was a sanded hybrid that stuck well in the mid lane and made a nice smooth sweeping back end motion. We went then to the Scorpion Sting, which completely reimagined what that Scorpion inner core looked like. We added a puck, and it was a little more reminiscent of the Web Series balls, albeit at a lower price point and with a little less diff than the Web Series at 045. That ball cleared the heads better with a much more abrupt change of direction, and I think it was maybe the more usable of the Scorpions that still packed a little bit of punch but was really great on medium to medium light conditions. Now, by removing the puck, adjusting the core height, and adjusting the core densities on this ball, we've dropped the differential from 45 all the way down to 31. That's going to be a lot less flare potential, a lot less flare spacing on this ball, and the RG dropped a little bit by way of making this core more mass-centric by removing that upper puck that the Scorpion Sting had. That makes this ball a little lower in RG, so it's going to rev early in the mid lane, and the low differential is going to keep it from changing direction violently on you. This is a tour player's ball because it makes a smooth, sweeping, arcing motion, but this new cover stock combination with this core makes it a ball that keeps going on the back of the lane and doesn't quit or get too forward. Now, you've seen this cover before. It's actually the original cover base that was on the hybrid, but now here with this low differential 031 diff core, you see a ball that doesn't read in the mid lane quite so hard. The flare spacing is a lot closer together on an 031 diff core, which means that it's not going to see the front and middle of the lane quite as aggressively. That means that this core is saving some of its energy for the back of the lane, where it makes a sweeping continuous, not angular motion, and keeps driving because of the fact that it didn't bleed energy early in the mid lane. So all told, the Scorpion, although on paper looks like an earlier, weaker version of the original Scorpion hybrid, is actually quite a usable and quite a strong ball across a variety of medium-heavy to medium-light oil conditions. Basically, anything that you encounter in that middle range will see the Scorpion low flare being in play. 3 different releases offer 3 completely different motions that fit 3 completely different parts of your bag. That's the beauty of this release schedule for hammer. If you bolt on long, slick, heavy oil conditions and you're looking for a top dog to replace the top ball in your bag, look no further than the Black Widow 3.0. That thing is already making players money. But don't sleep on the Scorpion low flare, a ball that might not be as flashy or as hyped as the Black Widow 3.0, but is going to be one of the most versatile tour balls that you've ever thrown. And if you bowl on a lot of short, flat, or sport patterns, you might be interested in picking up the Black Hammer 73D hardness. It's about 4 and 2 less maybe than a purple hammer, and it's going to slot just below your new blue hammer in your bag in your tournament arsenal. That's all the information I have on these 3 new releases in the hammer lineup, looking to make waves in the 2024... Oh, what's that? Oh, they've already made waves in the 2024 season? Perfect. Don't get left out. Make sure you pick one up at your local pro shop. Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Bowling Buckosh. I make new videos as new core releases come out for the brands of Brunswick. Feel free to drop a comment below if you have any questions about these or any balls in the current hammer lineup. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video.